Come on. She's almost 80, man. That's right, friends. We have reached Led Zeppelin status. Everyone's heard of us, but the kids these days, they've never sat down and truly appreciated us. We have been around since the beginning, and we were told ad nauseum when we were kids that at some point we were going to stop caring about gaming, and it certainly couldn't be a career. But yet here we are. We paved the way for this generation of gaming enthusiasts. And how do they see us?
Oh, no.
Well, my middle-aged gaming friends, fear not, you are not alone. I am here with you, here in the sea of consoles and colonoscopies.
Moon River. Whew. Thank you, Doc. You ever serve time?
And PCs and AARP. This is what it's really like to be a gamer over 45. But first, a little context. The thing you have to remember about gamers between the age of, say, 45 and 55 is that we experienced the best of both worlds. We got along just fine without technology. No computers, no consoles, no smartphones. And when video games did come out, we needed a roll of quarters and the skill to spell ASS on that game's leaderboard.
I am a golden god! Yeah!
But the flip side of that coin is that we were young enough to embrace technology when it became clear that it was going to be part of our daily lives. We weren't so set in our ways that we couldn't adapt and modify our lives to embrace it and appreciate all that it had to offer.
I'm going on email. I'm going on web, on net.
We were, if you will, the proverbial sweet spot. But is that always a good thing? I don't know. So let's take a look. First, number 5, trying to find the next big thing. Let's get this out of the way right now. We're old. We rarely, if ever, try to do that anymore. When we were 15, we looked at our parents and wondered, why aren't they recording the next big song off the radio on their boomboxes like we all were? Spoiler, they could just afford to go out and buy the song in a store, but a little more on that later. But that's how this generation looks at us now. Sure, I'll give it to you. There may be a couple big AAA games that we may pre-order or buy day one. That's fine. There's always a couple of those every year. But I'm talking about the next big thing. The thing that we weren't aware of that suddenly got big.
Damn, I'm too good! Shit!
It takes until it gets popular for us to even be aware of it. And by that point, that's right when everyone of any relevance stops caring about it, right when we show up. And then we grind it into dust. All right, number 4, and this is a rare upside of being a gamer over 45, and I just mentioned it a second ago, we have money. I remember back in the day being a young teenager with no steady source of income, and I'd have to do odd jobs for $2, $3, and $5 here and there to try and save up money to buy games and consoles. I remember specifically when the Super Nintendo came out how badly I wanted it, and so I started hustling, but I realized very quickly I was never going to get enough money to buy this whole console. So my friend Jimmy and I worked out a deal. He was going to save half the money, I was going to save the other half, and we actually ended up doing it. We were able to buy the console. And then the console became like this little sad divorced child that would spend 1 week at Jimmy's house and then the next week at my house and so on and so forth, where we would each get to play whatever we wanted to play. And then after a couple months, Jimmy and I got in a horrible fight, and the console happened to be at his house that week, and I never saw it again.
You'll always be with me.
And then when it came to the games, remember, there was no YouTube, there was no Twitch, there was no way for me to really watch and decide if I was going to be interested in a game or not. I could read a magazine, those did exist, and they had reviews and whatnot, but if I bought a game and 2 days into it realized I'd spent $60 on a piece of trash, I was absolutely screwed.
What have I done?
But now, thankfully, we have a little more change in our pocket, and we have better ways to research what we're going to buy beforehand. But in the end, if we buy something that's not great, it's not the end of the world. But, and any gamer over 45 will tell you this, what do we do to have that comfort, to have that cushion, that jingle jangle of change in our pocket that allows us to go out and buy a game willy-nilly, whether we think it's going to be any good or not?
Now, if I work my ass off and Initech ships a few extra units, I don't see another dime. So where's the motivation?
That's right. We spend 40 hours a week at a job we hate, selling our souls just for the privilege of buying that game.
Good luck with your layoffs, all right? I hope your firings go really well.
Excellent. Great.
Wow.
Moving on to number 3, we are immediately discounted. YouTube didn't start getting big until my mid-30s, and Twitch didn't start getting big until my early 40s. And look, that's not my fault. That's not really anybody's fault. That's just Father Time moving forward.
All your excuses are lies.
But in that era is when gaming exploded. It's when gaming became accepted and could be a large part of your life. But what that doesn't mean is that the people that came before that era are necessarily trash. Look, there is one thing that us old folks do very well, and that is that we have a healthy level of commitment and a solid side helping of resentment. We look at this current generation, the generation that's able to make a healthy living out here, doing the thing that we were told we wouldn't care about after high school, and we're bitter.
You goddamn right I'm bitter. I see my riding around in $100,000 cars.
And we will grind. And we will do whatever it takes to make this generation of gamer even slightly more miserable.
Holy shit, settle down, y'all. So sorry there, man. My bad. I see you, you're right over there. That's okay, you're healing. I'm not gonna let you. Not at all.
On to number 2, and that is how we deal with other people our own age. Let me paint a picture for you. It's bright and early Monday morning, and we're heading into that soul-sucking job I was talking about earlier. And guess what? We run into Craig from accounting at the coffee machine. Craig's a nice guy. He asks how our weekend was, and here's what we tell him. Well, buddy, this weekend I decided I was gonna really get down and grind on the Blood and Wine DLC for Witcher. Guess what I did? I decided to romance Triss instead of Yen. And guess what? I found it much more gratifying.
Know what? We should end this discussion before I say something I'll regret.
Craig doesn't know what to do with that. He's still a nice guy, but Craig thinks I'm weird now. How do we handle that? Look, gaming is much more accepted, and honestly, I go to a number of people's houses that, may or may not have kids, or their kids play games or not, and they have a console. They'll boot it up every now and then, play a little Modern Warfare or something. But not a lot of people spend the time gaming that we do, that make it a really active part of our life. Gaming is still kind of considered a fringe activity in our age group. The good news is, though, is we're old and we've developed a thick skin and frankly don't really give a shit what anybody thinks.
Why are you the way that you are? I hate so much about the things that you choose to be.
Lastly, and most importantly, number 1, we have each other's backs. Look, we play games simply for the enjoyment of it, simply because we love it. And there's all sorts of different old-ass gamers out there like me. You want to play some retro 8-bit title from 1986 that you literally haven't played anything else since 1986? Fine. You want to refer to the PS1 as a modern console? Also fine. Or you want to pay $800 for a black market PS5 on release day from a guy named Ken in a bank parking lot on a rainy Sunday afternoon? Also fine. We will stand in solidarity with each other. We will go to the mat for each other to defend each other's rights to play any game or console or platform we choose. And do you know why we'll do that? It's because we know the one thing that this current generation of gamer simply can't know. And that one thing is that we're all just gonna die eventually and none of it actually matters anyway. Until then, stay the fuck off our lawn.